So who would like to see a tool that checks all of the most important boxes that you can add to your mix and make everything that you do at closing even more effective? If you could do it easily, if you could add it to your mix, it's simple, it's cost effective, but it brings a ton of value. It's recurring. There's all sorts of stuff in this. So, okay, I'm seeing lots of hands up. Lots of people want to see this. So let's go ahead and dive into that. So that's where we bring in Jack now. Jack, if you want to go ahead and say hi. Jack's going to talk to you about HomeBinder.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Zach. I really appreciate that intro. A lot of what you said, I sure hope the audience sees how it lines up with some of the things we'll talk about. Again, my name is Jack Huntress. I'm the founder of HomeBinder. We are a 8-year-old company outside of Boston. I'm a dad. I have 2 kids under the age of 10. For any of you out there that are in a similar situation, learning how to homeschool at this time, I feel your pain.
Oh, man.
I'm with you. I don't know how Zach does it, traveling the country with his family and doing schooling along the way. I admire you a lot for figuring all that out, Zach.
Thanks, man.
One of the things that Zach said that I'll come back to is this idea of a closing gift package, and I think that that's a strong way to say it. I'm going to talk to you about HomeBinder over the next 5 to 7 minutes, but in no situation do we purport to be the only closing gift that should be part of something that an agent is doing. There are lots of other things that could, and we think should be part of it. But as you'll see here, as part of a closing gift package, this is checking a lot of boxes and doing some things that probably a lot of other closing gifts may not, but those other closing gifts I'm sure would be appreciated and have their own value to them as well. So without going into any more background or detail, let's dive right in. What is HomeBinder? As I said up front, HomeBinder is an electronic filing cabinet of sorts for the homeowner. It's a home management platform. There's a place for everything, and everything has its place. And we'll go into it in more detail. I won't be touching very much on the sell side today. We've talked to Gabe and Zach a little bit about that. May be a conversation for another day. But the idea being that HomeBinder reports as part of selling a home have real value. And hopefully we'll be able to put another webinar for another day just about that. Back in on the closing gift side, it is a tool that comes to the homeowner right after the closing, all automated. That's where Gabe will be talking about how API Nation plays in here in particular. It comes branded on both the website and the mobile app when the homeowner logs in. So it has that persistency. It has the long game. It has your information right up front. And because it's electronic, if you leave a business card, but you change your information, your email, your phone, you end up changing brokerages, that information you gave your client is now maybe no longer valid. When you change your information inside of HomeBinder, it changes across the entire platform. Every binder, every maintenance reminder, as I'll talk about in a minute, everything gets changed instantly. So your brand stays current with where it is today.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's really important. You think about it, Gabe, about how much agents move around in their career, and that can't be ignored with, I think, any technology solution. You probably know a lot about that on your own.
No, it's changing a ton. Yeah, just looking at the gifts this week, trying to figure out, what are people using, what is really effective. A lot of them are, plaques, some kind of, even that fire extinguisher is a fire extinguisher with an etched plaque with his phone number. But then all those, he changes his phone number, and now all those fire extinguishers are not useful. It's so sad, but no, that's great that HomeBinder does that. It's cool.
Yeah, really important. Early feedback that was a key element of it. I'm not going to go into the whole platform today. We'd love to talk to anybody, obviously individually in a demo. I'll talk about that at the end, how to do it. Just an example of a maintenance screen. Every section here on the left-hand side has a place for something about the home, and everything has a place all the way down to paint colors by room. If you've got professionals as a real estate agent, they can be loaded right into HomeBinder and be shared so that when the homeowner comes in, they're seeing their pros plus anybody that you may have offered or suggested to them. And those networks change too. So Gabe, not only do agents, contact information change over time, but also they may have an electrician, a plumber, a mortgage professional, someone in their network that they now no longer favor for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And it would be persistent in an analog version. In a digital version, as soon as they get deleted out of the agent's account, they disappear from reference to the homeowner.
Yeah, which is a shame. Yeah, because so many of the social posts I see are people looking, especially on like Nextdoor. I don't know if a lot of the agents are on Nextdoor, but a lot of it's like, yeah, we had this electrician we loved. Our agent set him up with us, and now he's retired. I don't know what to do. And instead of going there, they could just hop into HomeBinder and get the new electrician from their agent.
That's right. And we think those referral networks are, they continue to be very powerful way for homeowners to find professionals to get work done.
Well, and playing into that, this plays into the the recurring component too, right? Where by being the source, you as the agent, connecting them to these great professionals, every great experience that they have with that plumber, with the with the landscaper, with the pest control person, whoever, every great experience that they have with them essentially reflects back on you. So you get to be part of their continual life in that home, even after you're done with your transaction. So it plays into everything that we're talking about here.
Absolutely. This is, of course, my love and joy. This is what I get to do on a daily basis. I could go into a lot. I just summarized some of the things that HomeBinder does, and then we'll talk about the branding and the closing gift part of it. I just thought it was important to offer a little bit more about what is HomeBinder as a tool, as a platform, as an app, as a piece of software. I mean, we have an app for everything in our lives. Why is there not an established one yet for the home? And that's what HomeBinder is.
Yeah, I love how that track paint by colors by room. You kind of have it as like a afterthought, almost like and also it tracks paint colors by room. We have 2 paints in our house, and I can never remember which color they are. So every time I go to Home Depot, I got to go into the garage and dig out these paint cans to figure out exactly what I'm going in there for, and it is a hassle, man.
Yeah, one of our largest lender clients came on board, and we're talking they're doing 10, 12,000 loans a year, because he had to repaint his entire downstairs, costing him $7,500 because he used the wrong color paint.
Oh, jeez.
And he lost it. He said, this is crazy. I can't do it anymore. Anyway, that was his backstory, but that was the bullet that brought him to us. And of course he likes HomeBinder for lots of other reasons, but it can be a real difficult thing for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. So where's the branding come in? Well, I talked about on the dashboard, every time the homeowner logs in, every time they're on the app, there's the branding that's right there. But what I wanted to also talk about are maintenance reminder emails. If you give a homeowner a analog 3-ring binder or some type of physical handout, it's limited in the sense that it can't talk to the homeowner. Because we're electronic, we can, and a primary way we do it, besides appliance recall notifications or a monthly update, is through maintenance reminder emails. Hey, it's time to sweep your chimney, service your furnace, blow out your sprinklers. Whatever these key items are, for most homes, that 6 to 8 touches a year with your information on it, that's just on autopilot, just running in the background as an automated drip campaign that just doesn't stop, providing those touches per year. We obviously coach people not to put in everything as a maintenance reminder, like, hey, it's the fall, rake your lawn. I mean, that's silly.
Right.
But that's an inclination that some agents might have, just because I want more touches. What we like to coach agents about is, think about every time a maintenance reminder comes out, you want to make sure that the homeowner opens it. You have not cried wolf. It's not good for you. It's not good for us, and engagement with that homeowner. And honestly, 6 to 8 touches a year over the course of a decade of them owning their home, that's a lot of augmentative marketing that you don't have to think about. It's just going on in the background. And again, if you change your information, it immediately is changed across all maintenance reminders, anywhere on the website, any contact details.
Yeah, and not to mention, these are also great opportunities. Those maintenance reminders, your partner vendors,
Yes.
when they're the type of maintenance reminder that would normally involve a vendor. Well, shoot, you're essentially marketing on their behalf. That lends a lot toward referrals and potential like joint advertising budgets and all sorts of stuff. So there's lots of power there.
And we automatically tie those professionals together. So if we see an HVAC person in your list, they automatically get tied to service the furnace. We see a chimney sweep, they automatically get tied to sweep the chimney. And so that helps that network with very, just make home ownership a little bit easier. I think every agent, cares about home ownership. They care about homeowners being successful in their home. And there's a lot of negativity around there today because homes are complex and we have busy lives. And we're trying to make that barrier a little bit less difficult than it is today, and create a more positive home ownership experience. Because I think that that's good for the economy. It's good for agents. It's really good for people on there as individuals, but it is a difficult thing to do in your life.
Absolutely.
So value to agents, being relevant digitally in front of clients, especially millennials, building your referral base, staying in front of your previous clients. We talk a lot about, and Zach did up front, about how many of your clients are your buyers. They do have a difficult time re-engaging with you, and building your base over time takes a little bit of work, and having a lot of tools out there working for you, of which HomeBinder could be one of those, can help build that additive stack of people out there really still remembering your name, bringing their business back to you, and also remembering your name at a dinner party. We talked a little bit about sharing a professional network. We also touched just briefly on how HomeBinder seller reports are another part of it. Again, not for today, but hopefully another future webinar. With that, I'm going to be sensitive.
Real quick, Jack. I was just going to say, go ahead and go back to the previous slide real quick. We will be doing, anybody that's on the webinar right now, we will be doing another webinar as the plan to talk about how you can strengthen your listings to help you in that process, especially for sake of securing more listings and using HomeBinder as a tool for that. It's a very powerful component of what HomeBinder does. We just didn't want to dive into it a ton on this webinar because it's kind of outside of the context of what we've been talking about. But do note, like, that it's not a small thing that it does. It's just it wasn't as relevant in this context. So I wanted to reassert that for you.
Thanks, Zach. I appreciate it. Yeah, it would be information overload today. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Gabe now, who can talk a little bit about how integration makes it easy. I will not steal any of his thunder. I will let him do it all. But I think the core message here is that we understand you use technology tools to both run your business, and because of that, you expect it to drive efficiency. And through what Gabe's going to be able to talk about, the process of putting HomeBinder into the hands of your buyer clients is entirely automated. When they get set up, they get an email from the system letting them who set them up. They click on the link, they're dropped right into a page where they pick a password, and they're brought into their HomeBinder. So we didn't have to come back after Gabe talks. I thought I would just include a few images here so you get a sense of how it works. HomeBinder would cost a homeowner $36 a year to use the product, so over $300 in value over the duration of their ownership. Talking about another point that Zach talked about earlier. So without further ado, I'm going to tee it right over to Gabe over at API Nation. I'm going to escape here and stop my sharing.
Yeah.
Gabe, you've got the comm.
Awesome. Thanks, Jack. Yeah. So HomeBinder, kind of how Zach and I talked about it, a lot of super great ways that HomeBinder complements your closing gift package. And I think it's, when you're choosing your closing gift, even if it's your current closing gift, you think that's working great. HomeBinder is going to just come alongside that and make it, lasting, recurring, memorable, custom. It's their house, practical. It tells you all about, all the different services they can use around their area. And we want to make it as easy as possible to use HomeBinder and make that a complement. So that's kind of what we do as API Nation, is make apps talk to each other so that using them together is as easy as possible. So these probably look pretty familiar. A lot of these are real estate apps agents are using every day, and we've put them all on our platform so that they talk to each other, and you only have to enter information once, and you can do less work at your computer so you can get in front of people and do more of that client work that is so important. So you can go on to myapination.com and poke around and see if the apps you use every day are on here. They most likely are, including HomeBinder. And so HomeBinder has a very sweet integration set up with .loop. And what happens is you come on to apination.com, you signed up for HomeBinder, and if you're using .loop, you can just connect HomeBinder, pop in your API key and a couple information from your HomeBinder account, which is easy to find here. Just go to this gear, and it's in automation. There it is. So you'll just go in there and find it, bring it in here, connect HomeBinder, and then anytime you create a loop in .loop, you automatically create a binder in HomeBinder. There's no extra work. You're going to be making that stuff in .loop anyway. You might as well have that effort duplicated automatically so that when you do finally finish this transaction, your HomeBinder is all set up. All the details are already copied and pasted in there. So you can just hop in there and send it to that buyer and say, hey, this is all done. This is, took you or your admin very, very little work. Just got to set it up. And that's it. That's kind of what we're trying to do, is save you a ton of all these little day-to-day processes so that you can get out there and do more client work. So
that's awesome, Gabe. I would say, we talk about HomeBinders being an integration first company. We've integrated with close to 20 platforms by now. I can tell you that API Nation, the value of having a system that's all interconnected the way they have it is incredibly powerful. Some of you have seen Zapier, maybe use Zapier. API Nation is that on steroids. And every industry, from what I've seen, is starting to develop a hub of this of some sorts. And, API Nation has made it really easy for us. And we're super grateful for Gabe and his team over there, because it makes all of our lives so much easier when technology isn't such a mystery to get it to talk to each other.
That's right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's it. It's pretty simple. And you'll just sign up for HomeBinder, come to API Nation and connect it to your .loop account. And then you're ready to go, basically. You're ready to start giving a very sweet closing gift.
Awesome. Yeah. And I mean, this really, to kind of tie it all together, so everything that we talked about of how you set up your closing gift and all of that, if you really want to think about how you can implement this like incredibly effectively, if you put a lot of work and effort into thinking through your closing gifts, from the perspective of creating that emotional connection, you can do that and really focus on the emotional side, right? And be able to really solidify that emotional connection that you create through your closing gift. And then you bring HomeBinder in that mix, and now you've got the benefit of an incredibly great emotional connection through your closing gift, plus the HomeBinder system, which conveys all sorts of value. It's very practical. It gets your brand in front of them. You've got repeated reminders just happening on autopilot. And when you tie that together with API Nation, the work that you're already doing to manage your transaction will automatically result in you marketing to those clients in the long run. I mean, you've got the perfect storm of results in terms of using all of these systems, tying them together, creating those great experiences, creating those referral relationships, and yeah, it's just fantastic. That's part of why we wanted to all come together on this and really paint a solid picture of how you could use closing gifts effectively this way, but how HomeBinder and API Nation are such a valuable set of tools in that overall toolbox of creating an awesome closing experience for your clients. So yeah, there you go.